Hello to all our viewers. Maybe this is the podcast Cosmic. I'm Vlad, and this is the 8th episode of the podcast Cosmic. As you can see, the jaded hat down there below is putting up 8 fingers for our 8th episode. Yes, we've actually made it to an 8th episode. So I'm gonna take it around the horn so everybody can say hi.
Happy anniversary,
guys.
2 months.
2 months, right?
Mm-hmm. Longer than some relationships I've
had. Arton
Iliopolis XD here with another Destiny video. I don't think we're talking about Destiny 2 today, but glad everybody can make it.
Keith, aka the Jaded Hat.
And just so everybody knows, we're going to be taking up a fund collection because Artie, as you can see, is incarcerated right now. He looks like he's in a jail, or he's kidnapped. So people have started asking us for money. So we're going to try to take up a little penny.
His hands, so.
Yep. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the podcast Cosmic. This week is going to be a little bit different. We are doing a themed episode, and we'll give you sort of the breakdown in a second. Obviously, this is going to be a multi-part episode where we're going to start breaking down 1982 and the year in sort of geekdom, which it's celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. And the impetus came up because today is the 40th anniversary of John Belushi's death. For all of our 4 viewers, I'm sure they know who John Belushi is and what he meant to us from a comedy perspective, from Saturday Night Live and everything of that sort. And that sort of got us thinking about, wow, 1982 has all this amazing pop culture relevance, touchstones throughout the year that have resonated for 40 years right now and kind of shaped the 4 of us in many ways. So I think today we're going to focus primarily on movies, and I'm going to be throwing out a bunch of movies to the guys to sort of remind them what 1982 actually offered and what came out in 1982. And that's going to take us down a number of rabbit holes. And so bear with us. And then in subsequent episodes, we'll be focusing on comics, very huge comics.
I won't have anything to say about any.
You won't have anything to say about that, sure. Okay, we're still reeling. We're still butthurt by your scathing review of Iron Fist #1 from last time. We had to get out some Destiny.
Well, I don't think anybody read my review of Justice League Incarnate #5 I put on the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Thank you.
That's okay.
I heard it before too.
And music, and potentially sort of video games. Video games is a big thing for us because that was a very formative year for a lot of platforms, and huge video games that were released that year that have stuck with us. Pitfall, anyone? So
I used to love that game.
Yes, I did too. I remember the day I got it too. Yep. So before we start with the movies, tidbits, obviously the big news this week is the Batman was released earlier this week. When we're recording this, it's been out for a few days. We have 4 hermits here that have not seen it yet. I will be seeing it tomorrow, and I will be providing sort of a spoiler-free review next week. Other than that, other big news, we're not talking.
I would say a week later, I don't think we need to be spoiler free. I mean, do we really need to preempt?
You really want to piss off George?
Oh, I forgot George.
I'm not going to pay money to see this movie. So yeah, it's a DC movie. I couldn't care less.
Okay, Keith.
It's shocking.
Did we lose Keith?
But I would think that most people have seen it or heard about what's going on. Like by next week, everything's going to be proliferating the internet like
Well,
I
it's
mean, there's
already
stuff to look
proliferating. It's
right
already
now,
proliferating.
too, on the director too. So
Yeah, and it's already proliferating, and there's huge stuff out there and stuff like that. Keith, do you care if I spoil it for you guys next week?
I do not.
All right, then I'm going to spoil
well,
it.
if you're, like,
Jaded Hat is a Batman villain anyway, right? That's
Riddle me this, Batman. What color hat is jaded? So, Batman's the big stuff. Obviously, DC, not DC, Disney Plus put out a sizzle reel for all the new stuff that's coming in March, and they left out, they brought in all the Netflix stuff, all the Netflix stuff with in the advertisement, with the exception of Iron Fist.
oh, I wonder why.
I wonder
because
why.
they were
Well,
last week.
what'd you
Like,
say?
he's toxic, so they can't use Iron Fist.
They can't use Iron Fist.
I heard already rant about it, so they're like, "Fuck this, we got to cut
I
him
wonder
out."
why they've got to cut him out.
Yep.
And other than that,
This is fine by me.
there's shows that came out that we are refusing to talk about this week because we've committed to this 1982 a walk down memory lane.
What's coming out this week?
Yeah, what'd you say?
What TV shows are coming out this week?
Star Trek Picard episode
All
1
right.
dropped. Sort of that's a big one for fandom.
Mhm. Did the Boys cartoon drop?
The
Yep.
boy Diabolical dropped as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think what else dropped.
And that guy's in the news too, right? The guy who plays.
Something happened with him as well. Yes,
Yeah,
something happened with him.
He's got arrested for drunk driving or something.
Yes, correct.
Or spitting on a cop or something.
But the one thing I am actually excited about, I know you guys are going to be like, really? When we run our next podcast is, in addition to the Batman, I know that the Atom Project drops on Netflix next week.
Oh, that would be fun to watch.
That's supposed to be
Looks
really,
interesting.
that looks really interesting, I think. So I'm excited to kind of geek out on that. Other than
Did
that,
you guys see the preview for Bullet Train?
yeah, it
Yeah.
looks fun. It does.
It's a lot of fun.
It looks
And-
like it's irreverent, It looks like it's going to be, and he looks like he's playing out a character. I mean, like a cool character type of thing. I like it.
Yeah, Bullet Train looks really fun. It looks like a train full of assassins trying to do something with Brad Pitt. It seems like there's a fun cast, really, really fun, good action. It looks really good. If you haven't seen the excuse me?
Train Wick.
Yeah,
Train
right?
Wick.
And then
It's
another really good trailer, kind of.
The
before
Bubble,
we
is that the
move on.
one? The Bubble, is that the one? The
Yeah, Bubble looks hilarious. The new Apatow movie.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for me, looking at it, and maybe you guys know better than I do, it doesn't look like a traditional Apatow.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
And
doesn't.
it looks I love the cast. I mean, the cast is amazing.
Yeah,
It looks
and-
a lot of fun. It
Yeah.
looks like it's just, it doesn't take itself seriously, even though it looks like some of the characters are playing it serious. Saying it looks hilarious.
I think it's really, it looks really interesting. It does.
What's the premise of it?
So the premise is they're making some big budget film in the middle of the epidemic, or it looks like
pandemic? Yeah.
the pandemic, and it's just they're making some like in a series of films, almost like a Jurassic Park / Fast and Furious big budget series of action movies,
Mhm.
and they're doing it. It looks hilarious. You got Kate McKinnon in it. She's in the preview for like 5 seconds, and
But it's great.
It's
It is really
hilarious.
great.
I mean, it really looks like a lot of fun, Keith. I really recommend kind of coming out of the podcast today, just looking at it. And anybody who's watching,
I'll check it out.
watch.
You
the
posted it.
preview
You
of the
posted
movie.
it, right, Artie? You did
Yeah.
post it.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Kate McKinnon, the other thing that came out was the Tiger King limited series on Peacock with her.
Mm.
She's
Yeah.
playing Carol, whatever her name is.
Carol
She's
Baskin.
she's not getting good reviews though.
Yeah, I'm. kinda
She's
like
not
that.
getting good reviews of the show.
She's not. They're saying the John Cameron Mitchell who plays Tiger Joe is fantastic, but he's always been really good in anything. And that she just plays a Kate McKinnon character. So,
Mhm.
and it takes you out of it.
The thing was, I wasn't going to watch it, and I had no
Yeah.
interest, and I didn't realize it was on Peacock. I thought it was for some reason I thought it was coming out on Netflix.
Hmm.
But do any of you have any interest in it? Did you watch Tiger King?
I enjoyed Tiger King
I
what it
fucking
was worth because it was ridiculous.
Yes.
You know, it was like, holy fuck, what am I watching? I didn't watch the second
Yeah, I didn't watch it
season
either.
or whatever that was. I think, you know, there's only so much real life train wreck you want to watch,
Right.
right? So,
Yeah.
and I didn't care. I don't really care. And I agree with a particular review that's out there. It's like, is there really a reason to dramatize something that's already kind of over the top and dramatic?
Yeah, it's so absurd in terms of like the reality. It's crazy. So before we move on, did you guys watch anything good this week? I watched a couple things. I know you guys have no interest, but I watched the season finale of Euphoria.
Promised our viewer that we weren't going to talk about Euphoria.
Listen, I loved it. You know, I'm Team Fez all the way. It has, you know, really sad parts to it.
Is that a hat, Fez? Is that a hat? Like
He's a character, a great character.
This is the Jughead of the show.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I watched the third episode of Yeezus, the Kanye documentary, and he's in the news quite a lot over the last weeks, taking snipes, pretty bad ones, and Pete Davidson and stalking.
Your favorite character, your favorite actor of all time.
I'm no fan of Pete Davidson, but you know, Kanye, you need to step off. You know, that's not
Did
a
he
good
do a
look.
video with him burying him alive? Or
Yeah,
something?
it's, look, I have no love for Pete Davidson. I think he's talentless. I don't care who likes him. I don't know why he's been given the spotlight and getting like an extended 15 minutes of fame. But
He's found love with Kim Kardashian.
yeah, but nobody.
Well, he's found love with plenty of women,
Yeah,
apparently.
but just to talk about this for a second, you know, Kanye is really treating Kim badly. And, you know, as much as you may not like Kim, she's a mom with a child, and he shouldn't be behaving like this and overtly or not overtly making threats towards Pete Davidson. It's just, he just shouldn't be doing it. Anyway.
He's calling OJ, what?
Yeah, seriously. And then even though I did like the limited docuseries, I think it's worth watching if you get a chance. And then today I watched The Last Duel. Did I like it? Yes, I liked it, primarily on the strength of the cast. And I think overall design looks really nice. It's filmed very well. I mean, you said it's Ridley Scott. Obviously, it's going to be beautiful to look at. But it wasn't what I expected. I don't even know what I was expecting. I was expecting more of a straightforward kind of movie.
Yeah, it's supposed to be told from different perspectives and stuff. I always feel that Adam Driver is great in whatever he is. You know, I could take or leave Matt Damon, and Jodie Comer she's. I mean, I don't know if you guys have watched Killing Eve, but she's fucking amazing on that show.
But let me ask you something. You don't think Matt Damon is, and what's
Matt Damon? What? I'm sorry.
Matt Damon is a good actor overall.
I liked him in the Bourne movies. I don't know. I just.
But then Bourne movies not. Again, I'm thinking like you don't think he's like a good actor. Like
it depends on the role.
It depends on the role, but I think Adam Driver. Adam Driver is committed in anything that he's in. I always feel that, you know, he's riveting enough to me that you stand up and pay attention to whatever he's in.
In that movie where he's like a screenwriter.
Marriage Story? Is that the Marriage?
That was great.
Is that the one with
Scarlett Johansson?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't want. My wife watched it. I didn't want to watch it because it just seemed honestly a little too painful. That's me being.
Yeah, it was, but they did a good job of it.
Yeah,
showing like the things that happen in relationships and stuff like that. I thought it was great. And then what's his face is in it too. Ben Affleck.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Now you got to remember they both wrote it.
Oh, I didn't.
Damon and Affleck. This is the first thing they co-wrote together since Good Will Hunting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But here's an interesting character, and again, he for some reason, despite everything that Ben Affleck does, he always sounds the same.
Well,
you know,
yeah.
I like him a lot. I like him a lot.
You do? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I did. One movie I liked that I thought he was great in was The Town. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Well, The Town was The Town was great. Argo was great. Argo was really great.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I mean,
He's really good at
Mallrats. I liked him in
Mallrats.
Chasing Amy. Chasing Amy. He was great in Chasing Amy. And Chasing Amy was I liked Chasing Amy a lot. I thought it was. Which one?
Dogma.
Well,
Dogma,
Dogma. Yeah, I kind of that I'm not a huge fan of Dogma. I do like the Skewerverse, the first few movies, and then later on, I do like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I did like the reboot. I thought it was pretty good. I'm a fan of Kevin Smith to some extent. Not
It's
to
a
some
comic
extent.
book line coming out from Dark Horse, from what I understand as well. Shortly. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
but I was going to tell you, Artie, before you jump, because you brought up Pete Davidson. I got to tell you, one of the things that I watched that I really enjoyed for the most part. Anytime John Mulaney hosts Saturday Night Live, I'm there. I'm sorry, and that was, and I don't.
Had a good monologue.
It not the monologue was fucking
You're
great.
talking about the last one he did.
This
Not
one,
the
last
not the
week.
one with the lobster.
No, this one with the churro. Well, again, did you see this week?
Of course I saw it. I saw it. It was
I
2
think
weeks ago,
I never was a fan of John Mulaney, and then I started kind of watching his stand-up, and then first the Saturday Night Lives. First of all, I was a huge fan of. I've always been a huge fan of Bill Hader's Stefan, and when I found out that he's writing it and sort of
Oh, really? So he's
dude,
with Bill Hader?
no, the way he would write it, he would have, because in Saturday Night Live they're doing everything off of cue cards, right? So Bill Hader, they would do the read through, the first one that's before televised, and then what Mulaney would do is he would change things at the last minute for the live audience. That's why Hader's cracking up.
Yeah.
Or
Well, Hader can never keep a straight face anyway. He's easy to break.
But you know what? For me, I loved Hader.
I love
I love Hader for everything. Barry's fucking great. Anything he's in. But the thing about Hader is I don't mind when he breaks.
Oh, I don't mind either. I don't mind.
I fucking hated when Jimmy Fallon broke.
I didn't realize that Mulaney had written for Stefan and stuff like that. I knew he was on the show, but I didn't think last episode was as strong as some previous appearances that he had.
But his monologue, to Keith's point, I thought was, first of all, it tackled all his shit. He put it out there, and he dealt with it in a great way. And I thought, I don't know, Keith, I don't know if you ever want to add anything to that, but I thought it was. No,
it did like how we talked about his addiction. The best part was like the breaking up with with the drug dealer.
That was amazing.
Fucking hilarious.
That was amazing.
Oh, but let me just say, before while I'm on the comedy, I found this guy Bo Burnham just recently.
Him?
Oh, he did a show Inside, but he did this great set piece where he did like a rant, like he did a version of a rant that Kanye West did. It's amazing.
Oh, I gotta go check it out,
dude. It's amazing. I mean, it's kind of sad and like it gets dark, but it's.
Is that recent special that's on Netflix?
Well, Inside is a new special. His new special, yeah. But yeah, it's. I mean, he's got some catchy tunes that. I mean, he's really good.
I'll check it out.
Definitely worth it.
I'm sorry I took it there, but did you guys see anything that you wanted to talk about? It just felt
Severance. I did see Severance, the 4th episode of Severance. George, I don't know if you saw it yet. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that Severance is. You got to watch Severance. Severance
that's
is
on Apple TV, right?
That's on Apple TV, and again,
the thing I don't have.
Yeah, fine, okay.
No, but that's what I mean. I want to see it. It's unfortunate that that's kind of like the one service I don't have.
Yeah, but you have basically an entire third world country's sneaker collection, but you don't want to watch Apple TV. Okay.
And I'm probably going to watch Succession. I saw that it's on HBO Max.
I told you to watch Succession. You have to. And not only do you have to, and as a Seinfeld fan, the fact that you're not watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, and don't tell me I've seen some of them, the fact that you're not watching Curb Your Enthusiasm is a crime against humanity. It's a humanitarian crisis. You should be watching it. Sorry,
I'm the Putin of this podcast.
Excuse me?
I'm the Putin of this podcast.
I mean, no one could argue that.
Yeah. Even though you look like you're about to say, please, I'm doing fine. I need your donation. Send money. We should have a little photo of Sally Struthers come up and say, please help him. He's what were those, like save animals?
And 5 cents a day. So did you guys watch anything, or you guys see anything good? Or?
Nothing else. Movie wise, I think I've recommended to you guys that you should see. If you're a fan of the games, you should watch Welcome to Raccoon City for Resident Evil. I think it's
fun.
it's fun. It's definitely fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've seen recently. Yeah, I think I mentioned it last week, which was Licorice Pizza, Paul Thomas Anderson's movie. And again, thank you, George, for pointing out last week about There Will Be Blood, which was another one of his greatest movies of all time. You know, did you see that, Artie?
What?
There Will Be Blood?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't as big on it as a lot of people were. It's all
It's
right.
not as good as his other movies, I thought. It wasn't as strong as some of his
Yeah.
other.
Boogie Nights to me is still his best movie. I love Boogie,
Boogie
Nights.
Nights is really
Boogie
good.
Nights,
Boogie Nights was fantastic.
The Master.
I never saw The Master, and I never saw. I kind of lost. You know, Licorice Pizza is the one that brought me back to him. You know, that's the thing. And with that, I'm going to start turning it over to 1982. Before we do that, nobody mentioned John Belushi.
Well, I was going to go there. I was going to go there just to ask you guys this. What was your introduction to John Belushi? For me, it was Animal House.
Animal House.
Animal House.
For me, it was Saturday Night Live.
You'd seen him on Saturday
No,
Night
it was
Live?
Blues Brothers. It was Blues
Blues
Brothers.
Brothers,
Blues
that's-
Brothers.
Blues
And
Brothers.
why? Because Carrie Fisher was in Blues Brothers.
Mhm.
I had the hugest crush on Carrie Fisher. 1980, which was, it came out the same year as The Empire Strikes Back. And I remember seeing Carrie Fisher or something. And at the time she was dating, when they filmed that, she was dating Dan Aykroyd.
I didn't know that. She was dating Dan Aykroyd? Wow.
Yes, she was for a little bit of time. She was
Hmm.
Blues Brothers. And then I, of course, going back to Caddyshack.
The thing about John Belushi is I don't remember him like I should. Like I have memories of him. But
He was
I
in
remember
Caddyshack. He wasn't in Caddyshack.
Not Caddyshack. I'm sorry. Did I say, I meant Animal House? I'm sorry. Thank
Animal
you.
House, yeah, yeah.
Animal House.
Where I really got John Belushi
Didn't
was
see
when I
that.
got a little bit older in my mid-teens, like 85, 86. And somehow they started showing episodes of him as the samurai.
Yeah, that's when I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
And
You know
that
what it
led me
was?
back and doing, what did he do? Joe Cocker?
Joe Cocker.
You know,
But the
and-
thing that came out on VHS, which was great, was the best of John Belushi, which
yeah,
I
and that's
owned.
when I started.
And I would
with-
watch that. I wore
Right.
that tape out because that had everything. It had Beethoven. It had him doing the Wheaties commercial. It had him, you know, teabag it. It had
I'm
everything.
surprised that we didn't start with that one.
No Coke, only Pepsi.
Greeks.
Yes, yeah, the Greek restaurant.
The Greek restaurant.
We didn't start off with that one.
Yeah.
Turn in your Greek cards.
And then another thing that was really important, you remember they did that one where he died on.
Well, because I'm a dancer. No, he didn't die.
Everyone's
He didn't
graves.
die. He was the last one, and that was
There you
the
go.
worst part about it.
Yeah.
He outlived everybody. That's the way the video ended. Yeah, I mean, and look, he was very talented. And I did watch, I think on Showtime, was it last year? There was a whole documentary on John Belushi.
Yeah, I saw one maybe a year or two ago that was fantastic. That was utterly
Right.
fantastic.
And you know, he was originally supposed to be slated to be one of the Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Dan Aykroyd wrote it for him, and Winston Zeddemore was supposed to be Eddie Murphy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that sort of went out the door, obviously.
Holy smokes.
I can actually remember where I was. I was in the car with my father, right before LaGuardia Airport for some reason in New York City, and I remember the radio coming on saying that he died.
That's glad you were there because that was the exit we got off at a lot. That exit right there. Remember that exit?
But the news,
Yeah.
hearing the
Yeah.
news, like I remember, I have memories of hearing about Elvis dying. I have memories of Belushi dying and stuff. It didn't affect me the way, obviously, that somebody like Robin Williams affected me years later, and we can talk about that another time. But you know, it's a loss. It really
Different
is.
circumstances.
Yeah. And at that point, you know, he wasn't really doing, remember, think about the movies he did, right? How many movies did he really do?
No, but he was really on this trajectory, right?
No, well, you remember the last movie he made was Neighbors, which was a sort of a dark
Was it
comedy.
Neighbors or Continental Divide?
Continental Divide, Neighbors, and then Continental Divide. That's right. You are absolutely
Wow,
right.
Continental Divide. There's a movie I totally forgot about.
Right,
I mean,
but which movies did he do? Think, 1941, right?
Mhm.
1941.
But that was like his like Bluto persona in that movie.
Right. And then Blues Brothers was huge for obvious reasons. But then after Blues Brothers, what came after Blues Brothers?
Neighbors.
Right. There wasn't a lot of movies. Think about it.
Neighbors.
There wasn't. which is sad when you think about it. With that, we're going to start talking about 1982, the year in movies. So, fellas, I'm just going to list them first, throw them out at you, spew them out at you.
I'm done.
Okay. And I'm going to do them for you in order of release. Okay. So I'm not giving you the date. I'm just going to give you sort of from order of release down from January through like the big ones. I'm not going to sit here for 15 minutes going through, but Quest for Fire, Swamp Thing, Victor Victoria, The Sword.
Did you see Quest for Fire? You know, I saw that in the theater, right? At the Ziegfeld, no less.
Of course you did. Okay. So let me finish.
I remember them taking me to see it, and I was just like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, you just saw a caveman fucking cavewoman, right?
I was really lost. And what was it supposed to be? Like, wasn't it kind of marketed as like the greatest movie of all time?
Well, no, it was marketed as there was no dialogue. There was no dialogue, and you had Everett McGill, right? You had Ray Dong Chung, and you had Ron Perlman.
About that movie.
What?
That's the only thing I remember about that movie.
Ray
Dong Chung. I just remember this.
But I don't remember. Why the hell did they take me to see this at the Ziegfeld of all theater?
Who's they? First of all, were you kidnapped?
Like my babysitter or something.
Well, you know what? They wanted to shut you up for a little while. They figured you can go watch like your relatives on screen.
She probably figured you could relate.
So let me go back to this. So Quest for Fire, Swamp Thing, which we can tell Adrian Barbeau, right?
Oh, man.
And Victor Victoria, which I actually saw in the movies. I remember I loved Victor Victoria for, you could say whatever reasons, but I did. The Sword and the Saucer, which I didn't see it in the movies, but I ended up seeing it at your place. You had a video for it on one of your birthday parties. Diner. Okay. Then on the same day, and this is a bit of a cheat now, okay? Our movie, Conan the Barbarian, and the US release of what was originally known as Mad Max 2, but was renamed The Road Warrior. So just let's let that sink in for a second. It came out in Australia at the end of 81. So it came out in 82 on the same day as Conan the Barbarian. Okay. Followed up
sort of cosmic symmetry there.
Cosmic symmetry. After that, Rocky 3. Then
Rocky right now.
Yeah. And then on the same day, if I'm not mistaken, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan and Poltergeist.
Oh, two great movies. I remember just even though we all love Wrath of Khan, right? Poltergeist was really a great movie for me. I loved Poltergeist.
Because you were a horror fan. Your favorite scenes when the guy rips off his face and the steak moves and all that shit. That's you.
I was just surprised by, was that rated R?
No, it was a PG. Remember, PG-13. PG-13 was not introduced until 1984. Gotcha. Why? Because Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Right. But if you remember Poltergeist, it was actually frightening.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be frightening.
I know, but just
frightening for a movie. It was something else.
All right, now here we go.
Directed by Steven Spielberg.
Nope. Produced by Steven Spielberg, directed by Tobe Hooper.
Ghost directed by Steven Spielberg. Go look it up.
Ghost directed?
Yes.
But but what's his name is listed. Tobe Hooper's listed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he was
that I did not know. That's that. I'd be interested to know why. Because did he go back?
That ghost, that clown toy.
Well, that's the greatest scene. Yeah.
A lot of people nightmares. I'm pretty sure, for sleeping in a room. And
the bounty guy is in that.
Yes.
James Cameron, who was in one of our favorite movies, Return of the Living Dead.
Yes. That's a great movie. Did that come out in 82? No,
85. So then literally the week after, you have E.T. So you got Poltergeist the week before, so you get the shit scared out of you, and then you start crying and having a great.
I saw E.T. probably pretty close to the first day.
Yeah, I did too. I
saw it on 70.
The RKO Keith?
I think so. And I remember I got a free package of Reese's Pieces.
Oh, look at you. Vlad, where did we go see The Breakfast Club? That's where I saw E.T.
Breakfast Club, we saw it at on 65th and the Lowe's Twin.
The one that goes downstairs.
That's not there anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's where I saw E.T., believe it or not. I also saw Wrath of Khan there.
No, I saw Wrath of Khan. My father took me opening night to see Wrath of Khan at the Lowe's Orpheum on 86th Street. When it was a 2-theater thing, the one on the Avenue, which had the stadium seating, that's where I saw Wrath of Khan for the first time.
The other thing that we're not discussing about movies from that period of time, do you remember they would have like those little books that you would buy at the
Yes, like Star Wars had
those,
one, and you had all these
my
books and
God.
stuff. Yeah, because it was do you remember? I remember I still have this visceral memory of the lobby cards for some of these movies. Like I remember, again, sorry to bring up Carrie Fisher, but I remember from 1980, I remember seeing Carrie Fisher, the Princess Leia shot of her on Bespin when they just land on the Falcon looking out at Lando and Han. You know, she's just looking, it's a close-up of her. And I remember all this stuff about, and it just brings back all this memory of going to see these movies, you know,
Right.
it's.
But you bring that up before you go on. You know what's kind of interesting, George? From this era, probably before, but as I remember, from the late 70s, maybe to the mid 80s, where you had these magazines, right?
Yep.
So images stuck out, like the stormtroopers firing, like Luke, Leia and Han together looking in that direction.
They didn't have
kind of stick out forever in your mind, like from those images in those magazines, like Star-Lord had it.
I still have my movie magazine of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we did go see.
You know, that's how you remember all those images. You know, it's like whether it was the trading cards or those books.
Right.
You know,
And that's the thing. And it was a different time. And again, for people of a certain age, of our age, it was our impressionable period where, you know, this stuff is, because we'd go to the movies a lot. That was it. And it was also a time when you started not going more to the movies by yourself rather than your parents taking you, type of thing. You know, you're starting to get out there. So a couple of weeks after ET, on the same fucking day, Blade Runner and The Thing. Okay.
Well, The Thing, obviously one of the greatest movies, one of my favorites of all time.
of course, we're like underrated at that time.
Completely and
very,
utterly underrated. Not only was it underrated, but in order for them to sell it, I ended up seeing it because I saw Conan like 3 times or twice or whatever. I remember seeing Universal did a double feature of Conan and The Thing, and that's how I got to see The Thing.
Great movie. I want to kind of digress towards the other movie you mentioned, which is one of the most overrated movies of all time, Blade Runner.
It's not overrated, dude. What are you fucking?
It's so overrated. I cannot watch it. I will not watch it ever again. There's no reason to watch it. You watch it once and you go, okay, oh wow, look, it's beautiful to look at. Wow, that's great. Ooh,
you know who directed it, right?
On there.
You know who directed it.
And then they did a director's cut, a super director's cut, the daughter of the director's cut, the third cousin of the first page from the third director's cut.
You need to do a rant incoming.
No rant incoming. And they should never show that movie ever again. And God bless one of my best friends in my life, Pete Hernandez, who loved this movie to death. He would talk my ear off about this movie. I would go,
maybe that's the bigger problem about it.
No. The bigger problem is that this movie exists, and then they had to do 32 versions of it. And then when it would come on HBO, I'd have to wait 3.5 hours for it to freaking end. So
why? Couldn't you change it over to Channel J and watch porn?
That's better. I'd rather watch Baby Let Me Bang Your Box for 3 hours straight.
Robin Bird. Well, you could have watched Robin Bird. Excuse me. That's a choice you make. By sitting there and watching it, you could have watched something else.
That's the whole, but it's on. Why is it on HBO?
Because it's a good movie.
It was trash.
What?
It was trash.
All right, we can go down this road later. Okay, so then
I didn't like it. Okay, I didn't like it.
I got you.
We never got that impression anyway.
All right, and we're gonna circle back. The whole idea was I was gonna spew out the list, and now we're sitting looking it up.
Get to the end.
What?
The list is going to take you 25 years to get through. So
and we didn't really
I'm almost
talk about
done.
how great The Thing was. You want to gloss over how great The Thing was.
I'm not glossing over how great The Thing was.
It had one of the best scenes that frightened me as a kid I couldn't even look at my dog Ariok again when the dog started blistering his head open and doing all this crazy shit and tentacles coming out of his face.
Excuse me, your kidnappers are getting a little antsy about you,
You don't remember
moving
that
as much as
scene?
you are.
That scene was
Good scene.
so effing frightening.
It was a fucking great movie to me. As the
Right.
dog,
And great characters.
Language.
And great characters. You had it. That
well,
movie's
it
great.
was during John Carpenter's heyday.
Yeah.
Think about it.
One of the
He
best
just
horror
had a
movies,
great string.
bar none.
You know, I mean, people argue, you know, I'm a, you know, from Carpenter, for me, it goes really high. Like Halloween is,
Yeah, for
but
me,
the
it's Halloween
thing,
thing.
the thing is, you know, Carpenter
I would
could,
think of a Halloween.
I wish I could, I can't.
I would do.
I can't. I put
Would
it,
you
it's
say
very
yours?
close.
George,
Would you-
what did you say?
I would put the thing over Halloween.
Made the way it was made. Obviously, it was made. And now the thing about it, no pun intended, is unfortunately because it didn't do as well. That was first one of the movies that started disillusioning Carpenter against Hollywood.
Really?
Yeah, because it was they threw a big budget. Now this is a movie that ended up over time. Here again, and to your pleasure, both not the thing, but Blade Runner and The Thing underperformed. They didn't do well with critics, and both of them are movies that over time have actually become
I thought
cult classics.
They sainted and beautified Blade Runner into the pantheon of great movies.
But that's Ridley Scott. Well, the same. Let's wait. Let's fair is fair. Blade Runner is one thing. The Thing has gotten all the credit now over the last 4 years.
I agree. And once it hit video, you couldn't.
I remember the moment I got it. I rented it on video. I was like, I want this. I want to watch this again and again and again. And it's a scary fucking film. But
did you have it on Laserdisc too?
I have it on everything. I mean, I had it on Laserdisc. I had it on VHS. I had it on everything, you know.
I just don't remember what you had on Laserdisc. I know that maybe I was wondering if you had that. That's cool.
Oh no, The Thing is one of my favorite movies. It's up there. It's like Carpenter. I have to have Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, and Big Trouble in Little China. Those hands down. And Big Trouble in Little China is one of my favorite John Carpenter films.
Really?
And that's an underrated film. Oh my God. I love it.
That's one of my favorite of his. But I'm not a big horror guy, but I really like The Thing. That's probably one of my favorites.
Exercise in Paranoia. The whole movie is all about paranoia and just what's going on. And the way that it well, no. Even the music. And it's not,
great.
Testing the blood.
And not even his music. It was Ennio Morricone.
Yeah.
It was not John Carpenter.
Oh,
It was
I didn't know
Ennio
that.
Morricone. And the ending, which is such a fucking, it leaves you. And there was recently something, I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast. I read somewhere that he had interviewed recently and said that, well, you know, there's a possibility to do like a sequel. You know, there's a story there because you really don't see what happens to McReady and Childs.
Yeah.
And, you know, everybody's talking about, I remember for
Breath.
the longest time. Did you guys ever see the TV version where there's a scene at the end after the credits where it's sort of the cycle begins again? You see another dog running away. You see the dog look and run away from the camp, and the camp is smoldering. So the idea is the thing is still alive. And I know that, was it Dark Horse that back in the late 90s did a thing?
Yeah, I tried to read it. It had some good art.
And it was, but the thing is, again, no pun intended. It's the way that it was filmed, the practical effects, Rick Baker's practical effects were fucking amazing.
Yeah, as much as I love the movies that you've mentioned, I would say anybody who hasn't seen that, who's watching the podcast, maybe one guy who's looking at my teeth and going, who the fuck are you to talk about Joe Rogan? You need to go get your teeth fixed. You guys should watch John Carpenter's The Thing. It is a freaking amazing movie. It holds up too.
It holds up.
I watched it not too long ago again.
I picked it up.
I mean, I'll walk in.
Blu-ray edition, and it's fantastic. So
yeah, I got a collector's edition of it as well, and it's fucking Kurt Russell, who's great. I mean, he's just, yeah. I mean, and you know, I can't say enough about The Thing. I mean, it's easily one of my favorite movies of that year, easily. You know, and yeah, and frankly, I love Blade Runner, but The Thing, but The Thing is above Blade Runner for me that year.
Yeah,
You
just
know it
talking
is.
about the movies you've gone through so far, it's hard for me to imagine a better year in movies.
Well, I'm saving the best for last because I'm
All
going to
right.
throw out a year that's going to compare right now. After The Thing, we have Tron, which I remember seeing in the movie theaters,
Oh,
which
yeah.
was
Yeah,
which
I enjoyed it too.
it
I
was
loved
it
it.
was shit. Now you go back and watch it.
Oh, it's
shit.
horrible.
It's shit. It's really shit. Not because of the effects. It's just the story's like what?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
I enjoyed it.
The World According to Garp. Zapped. Do you remember Zapped?
That's a big movie for me. You know, I had that on video, and you know
Right.
exactly why. that
Heather
movie-
Thomas and Heather
Heather
Thomas.
Thomas.
And here's the thing: it
But it
wasn't
wasn't
Heather
her.
Thomas. It wasn't her.
That wasn't her
No.
getting the.
Oh, you didn't see her face?
Well, that's not fun. But either way, it was still.
I'm
magical.
sorry that George and I ruined it for you. We
Yeah,
ruined your
but I loved
childhood.
that movie. Was it a remake back then?
No, it
Was
was
it-
it was at a time when they were making
It
these.
was actually, no, Vlad, you're wrong. It was a remake of a Jimmy Stewart classic from 1937.
What I thought.
Really?
Yeah, it was directed by Frank Capra. Yeah, absolutely.
I did not know that.
No.
George is
Oh.
correcting me. Is fact checking me tonight. I'm going to shut the fuck up.
No, I'm
Right.
joking. There was just shit.
Yeah, Vlad, we had a ball with those movies. You know, like
Right now, here's something surprising that I was not expecting. Okay, so in terms of release, because I was expecting this the movie after this movie that I'm going to mention was the first one, but this came first. Well, The Last American Virgin.
I love that movie.
Okay.
That is a classic to me.
Yeah, that's a horrible ending. It ends on a sad note, right?
What
Yeah,
a freaking good music, great movie. Oh my God, I fucking love that movie.
No redeeming characters
No,
other than
you remember how much I love that movie?
yeah, because you were a very, interesting individual when you were young. But yeah, okay. But get this. The Last American Virgin came out before Fast Times at Ridgemont High
Yeah,
by a few
wow.
weeks.
That's another great movie.
And another great movie, and Artie's going to freak his shit out, that came out between Last American Virgin and Fast Times, Night Shift.
Oh, that's
Ron
one of my
Howard's
favorites.
first film,
Yeah, that was such a fun movie.
right?
I had so much fun. That movie was so
Night Shift?
surprising.
Michael Keaton, Henry Winkler, Shelley Long.
Yeah,
Ron Howard's first film. Do you know what the premise is?
No, I forgot.
Yeah.
Henry Winkler is like this accountant, nebbish accountant, who quit his job, and he ends up working at a morgue. So he's just very set in his ways, and all of a sudden he's put onto the night shift because the proprietors wants his nephew or brother or something to work the day shift. So he ends up getting stuck in this dead end job as a
What a
mortician.
great movie. What a
And his new
fun movie.
partner is fucking Michael Keaton in his first role.
And he's great. Michael Keaton, he was going up. This is before Mr. Mom, right?
Right. It's a year before Mr.
And
Mom.
he's going.
Electric in that movie, though. He was like a jolt of.
It was, and then
Like,
Shelley Long plays the prostitute
Prostitute, great.
who
And
lives
Henry
with the heart of
Winkler falls
gold, who
love with
lives
her.
in the apartment building with Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
And anyway, what ends up happening is they realize they start doing a side hustle of being pimps. And it's a fun movie, and it's Ron Howard. It's Richie Cunningham's first movie, right?
All you can tell me is the next
Was it
another
his
movie in
movie
this
or
year.
second one? Didn't he direct something for Roger Corman?
Did he?
He may have, but it was his real big debut as a
Mainstream debut or something.
mainstream debut,
What's
right?
the line he says on the tape recorder? This is
He goes
tells-
edible paper, edible
Oh,
paper.
Right, but he tells Chuck to shut.
He said,
up.
goes, tell Chuck to shut up.
He just says that over and over again.
And don't forget, love broker.
Yeah, if you tell me that
I do
Bachelor
remember
Party
that
came
now.
out this year, there is no better year than this year in film.
All right, I'm not done yet. Okay, so then after Night Shift, Fast Times, which we've already talked about.
Yeah, great.
Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, good kills. That's not Ted. Ted, where's the corkscrew? That's the guy from Last American Journey. No, that's Crispin Glover.
Yeah, we had so much fun watching that movie, though, Vlad.
Yeah, the fourth one is the one I remember going to the movies to see.
Right.
Officer and a Gentleman.
Great movie. I really enjoyed that
It
movie.
was a good movie.
Mayonnaise.
Hey, come on. Who didn't have a crush on oh shit.
I didn't. Deborah Winger.
Deborah Winger.
Nope. Not me. Carrie Fisher, baby. Carrie Fisher.
That
Oh,
was a
and
great movie.
I needed to put this in.
Gossett Jr. That was great.
Yeah, I needed to put this in Oscar winning role. It's best supporting actor.
Yeah.
I had to put this in for Artie. Tempest. John
Oh,
Cassavetes.
man. Calibanos!
Calibanos with Raul Julia playing a Greek shepherd who was in love with his goat.
Yeah, Go Sleep
Yo-
Goats. Go Sleep Goats.
Go
Man,
Sleep
we
Goats.
watched that movie so many times.
Yep.
That used to be on HBO so many times.
Yep.
Yeah. But I rented it. I watched it. I love that movie. I could watch that movie endlessly.
Yeah,
And
I've been
that's-
looking. I've been looking for it. I've been trying to track it down. It's not an easy find, but I want to see it again.
Maybe
I
on
think you just got to go onto YouTube and just do Calibanos.
Calibanos, Go Sleep Goats.
Go Sleep Goats.
And young, it's Gina Rollins. It's John Cassavetes. It's no, Nick Cassavetes, the father. It's young Molly Ringwald as the daughter.
Yep.
Beastmaster, Mark
Another-
Singer.
I
And,
love that movie.
Isn't John Amos in that? John Amos from Good Times.
Yes, he's in it.
And who was
Tony
it? Tanya
Katane.
Robert?
Tanya Roberts.
No,
Tanya
Tawny
Roberts.
Katane is not in that.
No,
Tawny-
Tanya
Tanya
Roberts.
Roberts.
Tanya
Tanya
Roberts.
Roberts with the reddish hair.
Yeah.
I thought she looked beautiful in that. To me, that she was like, don't even get me started about what I was doing.
One of the first movies I saw boobs in, I think.
Was that? But that was PG, right? Wasn't it?
I don't
It's
remember.
PG, I thought.
He had the 3 sword, right?
No, that's Sword
No,
and the
that's Sword and
Sorcerer.
the Sorcerer.
That's coming up. No,
It's
is
Lee
it? Or did
Horse.
we passed Sword and the Sorcerer. I remember seeing Sword and the Sorcerer because now we're getting towards the end of the year. You had gotten it on video,
Okay.
and we were watching it at your birthday party. You had it on while you had all these kids running around your duplex, and you're watching Sword and the Sorcerer, and people are getting killed left and right. That was Lee Horsley, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
wow.
From
Yeah.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Wait, was that? No. What the hell was that show he was on? Fuck.
Not Vegas. That was Robert
That was,
Blake.
yeah, no. What was shit? Lee
TJ
Horsley.
Houston. TJ Houston. Was it something like TJ?
I can't remember.
Right.
Uh,
Pink Floyd. The Wall. What'd you say, George?
The actress. What was her name? She was on a TV show.
Oh, I don't remember. It was it was what's her name from Dallas, wasn't it?
Yes.
Victoria Principal?
No.
No, not Victoria Principal. Kristen. The wasn't it? I don't remember.
Well, the only reason I remember Victoria Principal is because she had a workout book that my mom had, and I would.
Yeah, and the pages are stuck now. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay,
Yeah.
that's no too much information. Thanks.
Kathleen Beller.
Who was it?
Kathleen Beller.
Kathleen Beller. Good. Thank you. Pink
One of the
Floyd.
most
The
attractive
Wall.
women.
You know, I never saw it. I
And
never
you know
saw
who
it.
she's married to, right?
Who is she married to?
She's married to Thomas Dolby.
Oh.
Really? Science. So
Pink Floyd The Wall, I never saw. as
Yeah,
much
I
as-
remember. I just remember I didn't see it until it came out on video, and I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, I was a fan of The Wall. Side note about Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, and
Yeah,
Wish You Were
for
Here are the
sure.
best albums. I personally think The Wall's overrated, but that's me.
Yeah, Dark Side of the Moon. had
Dark
an
Side of the Room,
anniversary.
yes. They'll
Had
shut
a-
the light on. What?
It had an anniversary, right? This year.
Yes, I think it's the 50th, right? No, it's the 50th that it was played live. It's not released until 73. They played it live for the first time in 50 years ago, I think last month, but it wasn't released until 1973.
But I think for kids, a lot of kids, The Wall during that period
Oh yeah.
was a big,
Yeah,
was a
come
big
on.
album because of the way those songs, right? We don't need no education, and you'd be in the back of your parents' car going, "We don't need no education."
And now it's probably one of their weakest songs.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. They Wish You Were Here. It's like,
Well, not even it's Wish You Were Here, Echoes, all of Dark Side of the Moon. You know,
Which
I
one's
mean,
Comfortably Numb from?
Comfortably Numb is Comfortably
Oh,
Numb is
it's a great one.
arguably one of the greatest songs of all time.
love that
And
one.
that's on The Wall.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, You's on The Wall, Mother's on The Wall, In the Flesh. There's some great stuff, but there's a lot of filler too. The Trial, which, yeah, okay.
I haven't listened to all of Dark Side of the Moon in years.
You have it because you don't want to? Or is it
I just keep forgetting to buy it on vinyl.
I have it like on, I've lost track. I have like a super audio CD. I have 3 versions of vinyl. I have 4 different CDs.
I only have one version of vinyl, but I'm glad I got it.
Yeah. Laser Floyd. I remember going to see Laser Floyd and stuff of that sort.
The
But
planetarium.
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah,
God.
yeah. I remember that.
I remember those days.
Yep. And here's something interesting. I know, Artie, you and I went to see this that weekend, but the same weekend was First Blood and Halloween 3: The Season of the Witch.
All right, First Blood, man. We
Think
saw
so.
that movie to death. I'm sure, like a lot of kids.
I didn't see it in the movies, Artie. I saw it at home. Halloween 3, it was my birthday party, and I dragged everybody to go see Halloween 3, which is because which was a horrible mistake. But
Yeah, but everybody, we went because of Halloween. Obviously, it had that cachet, right? We
but
didn't know.
And also the time of year.
time of year, yeah, right. And it was a shit show. And now it's one of those movies that now when you go back and you watch it, if forget about what Halloween is, Michael Myers and everything. As a standalone Halloween story, it's not a bad story. It's actually
No, it's not a bad story. To me, it smacks of a kind of a Twilight Zone story to me.
right.
But going back on First Blood, that was fucking, what a great. Again, we're talking about movies from this period, and for the 80s, I don't know. We talk about Die Hard a lot, but First Blood is in that category to me that's like bursts open a genre. It's just great. There's great lines.
I'm not
action heroes too at that particular time. It was a different type of action hero.
It was a different type of a thing. It was sort of, it was socially conscious. It was based on a book about a Vietnam vet before he became the avatar of nonsense later.
Wait, but that scene when they're beating him and he gets loose inside the station, right? That's just amazing. And there's such great lines. You had Matthew Donahue. What's his name? I forgot his name.
Brian Dennehy.
Brian Dennehy.
Don't push it. Don't push it. I'll give you a war you won't believe.
Right.
You got David Caruso getting crippled or getting stabbed, right?
That shit was hilarious.
my favorite is still fucking Richard Crenna. Richard Crenna's and the speech at the end. Nothing is over. It's over, Johnny. It's over, Johnny.
But it's just it's fantastic. I really enjoy. I just remember experiencing that, and then when they came out on videotape too, it had a whole fucking second life of.
Well, it had a whole second life
and over.
Now you got to also understand that everything.
So got the different cut too, because the original ending wasn't that.
He was supposed to die. Supposed to die.
Hmm.
Now, here's the thing. I want to preface everything now because we're towards the end of the year, and we should go back because we didn't even touch on Conan, which is like, I can't believe we haven't touched on Conan.
There's also a couple of movies that you never talked about that came out in '82 that Keith and I would geek out about.
Which ones?
The 5 Element Ninjas.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so now you're doing a different genre. Yeah, but those are great.
Okay.
It's kung fu movies, but it was movies that came out in '82. And
Where did you see those?
Got him at Times Square.
5 Black Belt Theater.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
What was the other one, George?
'82.
Yeah, I think Death Wish 2. Death Wish 2 also.
Kung Fu and shit like that. There's a lot of like great kung fu movies that came out.
Right.
Awesome.
So we're heading into the fall of.
I didn't watch kung fu movies on videotape or in the theater. I
watched them on.
It came on Channel 5 or
Yeah.
I used to watch it with my grandfather. He would come from Greece, and the kung fu movies were his favorite thing to watch.
Awesome.
Those was drive-in movie theater, right? That's what it was called on Channel 5. That's
Black Belt. It was called. What is it?
Black Belt Theater.
Black Belt Theater.
Wait, on Channel 5?
Yeah.
I remember it was like whatever it was.
I remember you would play like some of the other like 70s type of.
And then you had like blocks of them even on the 4 o'clock movie, right?
Yeah.
Well, the 4:30 movie. 4:30 movie. It was the 4:30 movie on ABC, which was like Monster Week, Planet of the Apes week.
Yeah, you would have themed weeks, horror weeks. So you'd see the Blob, and then you'd see like.
Now it's going to get interesting here because you got to realize, for me personally, '82 was the buildup to what I was considering the biggest movie coming out, which was Return of the Jedi. Well, Revenge of the Jedi at the time.
Yes.
So, because it was coming out in 6 months, right? And in November of that year, Star Wars was re-released, and they actually had the Revenge of the Jedi trailer
Mhm.
that was on it. And there was a poster, and my friend had gotten me the poster, which it said Revenge of the Jedi. Remember, because any material that came out after after they changed the name, everybody's like, if you could get a Revenge of the Jedi
I remember
poster.
you had that in your room.
I had it for a long time. Yeah. And okay, couple of interesting movies down. Q, Quetzalcoatl. Do you remember that one?
I went to see it.
Of course you did.
Larry Cohen.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good, but I
Oh,
went
it
to
wasn't. And now I'm gonna give you one that I know you guys are gonna. I know that Artie's gonna geek out about. Creep Show.
Oh,
Oh,
Creep Show
man.
That was
that
great.
I love the first one. The first
And then
one.
the comic book too that came out at the same time.
Mhm.
Bernie Wrightson, right? Wasn't it
Yeah.
Bernie Wrightson? It was it was George Romero and Stephen King, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. I really love that.
I saw that like 2 or 3 times.
What was your favorite story in it?
Oh, good question. I loved Father's Day. I thought Father's Day was great. It's
Yeah.
Father's Day. Where's my cake? I love that. I think the Jordy Verrill one with Stephen King was kind of weak. I thought the more that I've gone back and watched
Well,
it,
the crate.
the crate is fucking great.
The one with Ted Danson was great.
Which one? Ted Danson. You go back and you watch it and it really gets you. And obviously the cockroaches. Look, it's a solid movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
through and through. I mean,
through and through, it's solid.
And stylistically, it worked.
I like that it used color in a weird way to just like disguise the blood,
Comics.
Yeah, that's what they were doing, right? 100%. They captured it very, very well. They captured that EC Comics vibe very, very well.
Right. Of the last 4 movies, the only one to me that's really important is 48
State them
Hours.
so we can see which we
48 Hours, Gandhi, Airplane 2, and Tootsie.
Airplane 2 was great.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, I was never a huge Airplane fan, and I like it because Shatner's in Airplane 2, but
But do you like that genre of movies like Airplane, Top Gun,
Naked Gun,
Abrams and Zucker?
I'm okay with it. I'm now going back. It's like, all right, it's a little broad for me. Like, I mean, we could argue what's the greatest comedy of all time. For me, I Young Frankenstein. I mean, it's like Young Frank, one of them. I mean, Young Frankenstein.
Blazing Saddles.
Okay, there you go. I think it's a flip of the coin. What about you, Artie?
I don't know. That's going to take me a while to think.
Yeah, I have to think about that one.
Because there's a lot. I mean, you could argue that Something About Mary is one of the funniest movies. I remember seeing Something About Mary and having hyperventilation. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
A lot of funny scenes.
Don't even let me go there with you, Vlad.
Why?
Come on.
Why?
Something About Mary.
What about you? What movie did you find funny? Tell me what movie you found funny.
Well, Caveman.
What?
I'm joking. Hey,
1980,
Ringo
by the way.
Starr, comedy genius.
Ringo Starr, right? No, come on, seriously.
I don't know. I think you picked some good ones, and like Frankenstein Jr. I love Blazing Saddles.
Frankenstein. Wait, what's Frankenstein Jr.?
No, sorry. I liked History of the World.
History of the World was fun.
I've watched it again recently. It's not. It's
Doesn't
not the
hold
same. Blazing Saddles, and Young Frankenstein easily.
Blazing Saddles still probably holds up.
Yeah. There was one I was going to mention. For fuck's sake.
But the movie there is obviously 48
The Producers was fun too.
The producer. Thank you, Keith. The Producers is a fun. It's dated.
Movies,
It's dated, but it is funny as hell. Zero Mostel is fucking great.
Are we only talking like the funniest Mel Brooks movies or the funniest comedies?
No. Mel Brooks movies, funniest movies of all time. I wouldn't put that in there. I'd put Fish Called Wanda. I think is one of the is a damn funny movie. I mean,
I find it that funny.
Do you find Monty Python and the Holy Grail funny?
Yeah, I enjoyed Monty Python.
I did. I like a lot of the Monty Python.
Cheated hat strikes.
All right, so 48 Hours. We all thought that was amazing. That was kind of a genre.
I remember the story that I can tell about 48 Hours was my mom and her friend offered me the opportunity to go see a movie, and they said, "You pick the movie." And I was like, are you sure about that? And they're like, yeah. So I said, I want to go see Eddie Murphy in 48 hours. And my mom took me to the Baronet Coronet on 3rd Avenue in the city on 59th Street. And I remember sitting next to her and watching the movie. Now, remember, it's a Walter Hill movie,
Yeah.
and Walter Hill is excessively violent. I don't care how funny the movie is, it's excessively violent. What I remember throughout the entire movie is my mother literally like, oh my God, I can't believe this. This is so horrible. This is just like, she was just like constantly like almost in a state of panic watching this movie because it was so bad.
Was that the Baronet Coronet was on the south side of the street? It was the duo
Next to the pizza place,
Yeah.
pizza place. Yeah, that's where it was. And yeah, I remember seeing it there, and then finally going back and watching it again, and then seeing like all these character actors that and the music that Walter Hill uses. Walter Hill uses in all his movies and stuff like that. And I think we talked about it. I thought we did. What was the documentary that was on Netflix about
movies we loved, right? Or was it on?
No, not movies we loved. That whole Voir. It was Voir. And there was a whole episode on the essay about 48 hours about sort of
tremendous. It was really well done.
And I think 48 hours. Yeah, 48 hours is still arguably one of Eddie Murphy's best films. You know, I think Eddie Murphy's funniest film, pound for pound, for me, is Coming to America. I think Coming to America is real. No, think about it.
That's good.
Beverly Hills Cop is great, but it's an action film.
Yeah, we're just like, there goes Keith. Matter of factly, fuck you, Glad.
It's fine. It's everybody's opinion. You went off on fucking Blade Runner. Okay. You're talking about Yeezy and you're talking about Euphoria. And we're all sitting here going, okay.
No, I agree with you. I really loved Coming to America, the original Coming to America. I thought it was tremendous. I do think you're right. It had
Trading Places is damn funny too. Look,
this is better than Coming to America. For Eddie Murphy's funniest movie.
I like
Keith.
Trading. I'll go with Coming to America.
I don't find Eddie Murphy funny.
No, of course I do.
He's not one of my favorites.
No,
that's you right now.
Oh no, I enjoyed it.
Went down an Eddie Murphy.
Delirious, of course. I mean,
well, no, the stand up. Now the thing about it is, guys, go back and try to watch Delirious and Raw now in this day and age and see. And as funny as you think it is, you're gonna cringe too. Just like, oh, okay.
I don't cringe. I think it's balls out funny. I watched them not too long ago, both of them with my kids.
Because you're a heathen, but that's besides the point.
No, it's just fucking funny.
Like with the kids.
It is funny. It is. Yes, it's fucking hysterical. It's fucking hysterical.
But he'd be canceled right now if they didn't make him out.
Well, think about it, and that's really I'm not going down that.
Don't even have to say.
That's a different podcast.
But back to the movies.
Honeymooners.
I mean, Honeymooners is basically it's domestic abuse.
Yeah.
No, here we go with this. It's just you can watch the Honeymooners now, and it's just as funny.
No, I'm talking about
Nobody's gonna complain
the joke.
about it.
The joke that
of all
Murphy
the
does.
Yeah. Hey Norton.
I know that you know.
Humana. Get to.
I hear you've been making jokes about me. No, I haven't.
I mean, there was just some simple stuff in there that was so funny. I'm gonna win this race. Just even that stuff.
Lemonade.
Fucking amazing.
That cool, refreshing drink.
Refreshing drink. Ice cream. There's even in Raw.
Well, Raw. There's no question.
Raw when he does the Italian guy. That's just hilarious.
Hey, Rocco. Yeah, I mean, it's all good stuff.
Right, we can't say it now, but it's fucking funny to watch.
Go watch it. No, it's basically just say, go watch it. That's what it is. It's
I would recommend anybody go watch Raw. I mean, that's really like a superstar comedian. Like we like a lot of comedians, right? Like we love George Carlin, right? We love.
Is he the GOAT? Is George Carlin GOAT?
I think George Carlin's the GOAT, bar none. For me, by bar none. I think there's other great comics. Like I still love Dave Chappelle, no matter what the controversy.
I agree.
For me, like stand-up Carlin, Robin Williams. Robin Williams used to have.
I love
Robin Williams is, and I got the pleasure of actually seeing him live. I know you met him, Marty, so that's a different thing. But watching him do stand-up live, yeah.
I can't even imagine. He's so kinetic.
Yeah.
So it's just quick. So spontaneous.
It's so quick.
I used to like growing up. I used to like Robert Klein. Not that he was the same level of them. Like I just recently
We had
watched.
the best comedy. I mean, even though they have Netflix, HBO had
right.
the best comedy specials.
HBO had the same
of all
the
time.
Rodney Dangerfield specials.
Those were the best. I don't care. What,
Dangerfield, yeah.
we got introduced to some of the best comics.
Sam Kinison.
Sam Kinison.
Sam Kinison. Bobcat Gold.
I mean,
Even
Okay.
right.
yes,
Stephen Wright,
Stephen
right?
Right. Oh,
I-
Well,
yeah.
it's Jerry Seinfeld. I was not a fan of Seinfeld as a
Neither was
stand-up.
I early on. Either on. I was like, he's too clean. He's too this. I like him. Look, we liked some comics who now we probably wouldn't listen to, like Andrew Dice Clay. We
Yeah.
laughed our asses off to that stuff. I thought it was hilarious. We loved it.
Well, even Kinison. I mean, Kinison's kind of hard to go back and listen to again.
I think Kinnison's it stands because his comedy's really
Better than Dice. Better than Dice.
fire.
There
Um,
is stuff for Dice though that is great, which is if you ever listen to The Day the Laughter Died, which is him bombing and just watching it, just like, you know, they recorded him kind of testing material,
Mhm.
and it's funny, but it's not Robin Williams live at the Met. It's not the one a night
No,
with Robin
I-
Williams, an evening with
when-
Robin Williams. It's none of that, and that is just, to me, that's like Rosetta Stone.
But I think
comedy.
one thing we didn't talk about, talking about these movies and what we're talking about now, is our age. We were in our early teens
Early teens,
during
right?
this period. So this was really formative of us coming out from our parents' shelter a little bit, starting to experience our own things, left alone with HBO, with the dial, at night.
Yeah, and watching these things, and I'll tell you something, and I know it's
That's the home theater. Remember that?
WHT, and you're right. The thing again,
So
I
this
know
was
it's,
formative stuff for our.
but even I know it's horrible to say because it's not. The man is a monster now, but Bill Cosby himself is a fucking great. Do you remember Bill Cosby
Oh
himself?
yeah, we had so much. Look,
That stand-up
Bill
special.
Cosby
I
obviously
didn't enjoy him as much as some of the other ones, though.
Well, it depends on it would depend on what you were into. Like I as time progressed, there was other that I liked him because he I didn't care about the cursing. It's just the stories. But like, and it depends on the character. It depends. Like Carlin was all about language, which I fucking loved. Like Carlin and Carnegie. That's 1982. Carlin and Carnegie, which is fucking great.
Yeah, that was like our favorite, right? Like to me, that was. I just remember watching again. This is us as with cable. Every time that was on, I watched it.
I watched it over. I would record it because that's what our thing was. And also, the fall of 1982 for me personally was when I first got my first VHS.
Mhm.
And I remember it was the fall of 1982 that Star Wars was released on video.
And you got it.
And I remember it came out on video and then it showed up on HBO literally like 3 weeks later.
Let
And
me ask you. So you talk about your first VHS. Do you remember how heavy it was and how big it was?
Oh, I have a hernia from it still.
I
It
mean,
was a
those
Panasonic.
things. Do you remember how heavy those things were? I remember going to my mom had a friend, and these guys were wealthy people, so they had it. I'd never seen it before. I tried to lift it up. I remember it was like 246 pounds. I'm probably like 8, 9, 10 years old, or maybe Vlad back then. I was telling you I was like what 13, I tried picking it up. It was like picking up a fucking car.
Yeah, and you remember it had a wired remote, which I didn't
Oh my
understand what you were
God.
supposed to do
Oh
with
my
it.
God, yeah.
And I remember I used to record. My dad used to work at a video company, and he used to bring me blank or used videotapes, and I used to put it to what was it, the LP, the long play.
Hmm.
So I would record. I remember I used to have movies like recorded.
8-hour tapes.
Yeah, and I'd have like, I remember like I would be writing on them, and I'd have commercials from HBO between, because I would record everything off of HBO. And that's how, and it became sort of this repetition where I remember I would watch, like I had recorded, like I remember Escape from New York with Nighthawks with whatever, and I'd let it run over and over and over again. And all these movies that I'd watch, that's 81 actually. Those are older movies. But the 82 movies, I remember, for me, I remember getting Star Wars, renting it. And one of my birthday gifts I remember was somebody, my stepdad at the time, got me Halloween, the original. So that's how I ended up watching it. It was because that movie scared me. So watching it over and over again was the movie that exorcised those demons for me in 1982, because Halloween 2, I had rented that as well and was watching them back to back. So those became my Bibles. Star Wars, Empire wasn't out. I remember getting Empire, my dad buying me Empire, and I was at your dad. I brought it to your house. I had the Empire tape. But yeah, so
Wait, let me ask you guys something, because this is an interesting piece kind of thought for me. I don't see, or maybe it is happening and I just don't experience. We watch these movies over and over and over again.
yes,
Like from
yes.
this period. Do people still do that? Like, I personally don't have a desire to watch movies and over again anymore.
It depends on
Maybe
the
there's Marvel movies I have.
I'll be honest, if Star Wars is on, I'm watching it. If
Okay.
Raiders of the Lost Ark is on, I'm watching it. There are some movies that have come out recently that I enjoy, but if it's on, I'm not watching it again. I don't know if they don't have the replayability that some of those movies used to have, because like those things are ingrained in us.
Yeah,
What about,
Think about it, because
do you
was
think
it
kids
because
are doing it though? Do you think kids are still doing that?
No,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think so. I don't think they're doing it to the same degree, because we
My
don't
kids
have.
don't watch cheap movies.
Well, they don't watch movies, and I think everything is digestible. You remember,
Smaller
for this, it's in little bits. Everything is YouTube. It's this. It's that.
TikToks.
TikToks and stuff like that. It's like short attention span theater for us. For a lot of us who were quote unquote latchkey kids, right? If you're home by yourself, this becomes sort of your babysitter. You let it run over again, and it's sort of a self-soothing type of thing when you think about it. Like to George's point about Star Wars to me, those Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi specifically, and like Raiders and all these other movies that are extremely formative, they're hymns to me. It's like they go on. I don't have to sit there and watch it. I'm like, I recently watched Star Wars again, and I'm sitting here doing work, and I have it on my iPad next to me, and I'm watching it, and I'm just reciting the words, and it's, to me, it's like you're singing a religious hymn. It's Star Wars is my religion. It's those type of movies. It's like The Breakfast Club or all these other movies that came out, and I'm sure for other generations there's these movies like Harry Potter. People are watching Harry Potter over again. I think the closest for me, because now the Marvel movies are the closest that have brought me back to a sense of childhood where I'm invested in the story. I'm invested in these characters, and I can rewatch certain scenes because some of those scenes are so iconic right now. And it takes you back. It's a form of nostalgia that takes you back, that reminds you of Star Wars, that reminds you of all these comedies and all these things, and that you saw when you were a child, and kind of made you the person that creates this thing for four viewers to watch right now, sitting with his friends talking about the stuff.
It's kind of funny though, because like a lot of those movies at the time were considered disposable or something, but the fact that they're able to retain that kind of joy so many years later, it's amazing how they're able to sustain that kind of enjoyment, awe, laughter, whatever it was.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's anything outside of the Marvel movies, Harry Potter, sure, but like kind of match that.
Even the Lord of the Rings, guys, I'm sorry, as tremendous.
I don't know how anybody could say Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings. Those are,
listen to me. No, the Lord of the Rings. No, listen. The Lord of the Rings, for me, as great as it was, it's not something that I can sit there and rewatch over and over.
To me, I don't put it in that pantheon of Star Wars and the Marvel movies. It's like a over there somewhere.
Wait, Lord of the Rings? I'm sorry, but the Lord of the Rings, no. The achievement of the
Lord of the Rings, no. Lord of the Rings is beautiful to look at. It's epic. The movies were great. I loved them.
Okay.
Right? The three Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
Those other movies are trash. All right.
The Hobbits. Okay.
Okay. The Lord of the Rings were utterly fantastic, but the cachet of the Lord of the Rings is not the movies. That's not what the fandom of the Lord of the Rings. There's no debate there. There's no debate to be had.
Dude.
There's no debate to be had on
I'm sorry. What Peter Jackson did.
It's just phenomenal. I love them. I love them. They're epic, right?
But they don't have the same kind of, they don't
staying power.
Something like I can pass through it. Like if it's playing on TV, I could.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit and watch it. It's not.
But what I'm saying is the movies aren't the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings is J.R.R. Tolkien.
Okay, but then what about Harry Potter?
Harry Potter 2. I don't care. what group of Hugglepuff, Pumpkin, Horrorfax, whatever stuff they're buying at Hot Topic this week group. It's not the same.
Rant alert, rant alert.
No, it's not a rant. It's I understand why people like it. Like I understand.
Right. So stop.
It's not like
you
Star Wars though.
No,
It's
Star
it's
Wars
the
is our
books that
modern
were
mythology.
But Star Wars is
No, it's not. It to me, it's
Artie, wait. You got to understand that.
There was a love of the books before there was a love of the shows.
But no. Wait a second. Harry Potter had not finished his story when the book started coming out. So they timed it in such a way that by the time they got to the seventh book, they were.
I'm not gonna go off on Harry Potter.
We got to be honest. We got to be honest. Sorry about that. I got to push back on this. For us, Star Wars is obviously the be all and end all, right? We can all argue that Star Wars changed our lives. We were 7, we were 6, we were 8, we were however many years you were lying at the time, Artie. But think about kids who grew up 20 years later than that, and what Harry Potter meant to them. Even I got to tell you, even when the Lord of the Rings came out, for a lot of those younger kids, they only had to wait a year. I remember bitching and moaning to all my friends about the Lord of the Rings. Oh, you guys are worried that you have to wait a year for fucking Two Towers, and then another year.
I agree, they are franchises, and
but they're not the same. They're not at the same level as Star Wars. They're not at the same
level of Star Wars to us. To
us, right? There's
somebody else. It's their Star Wars,
right? Their Star Wars. Their Star Wars is the prequels and the Clone Wars. That's the thing that we're seeing now. That's what we're not realizing, is that there's a whole, like, everything that Filoni is doing and all this stuff that he's doing is based on a post prequel upbringing.
Yeah,
the prequels are over 20 years old. Think about that. 20 years for us.
No, Star Wars, the future belongs to the Mandalorian. You've seen that meme.
The future, right, it does.
We're talking about, like, to somebody that kind of grew up when the Lord of the Rings was released.
Yep.
At our age, when we saw Star Wars, Lord of the Rings is their Star Wars. Harry Potter is their Star Wars.
All right,
Harry Potter is their Star Wars. The Marvel and the MCU right now. I don't mean to talk over. The MCU right now is collectively what Star Wars was.
I'll agree. I'm just you're obviously, it's a tell how much I like those things, right? It's Lord of the Rings. I thought were fantastic movies, but I think now it's past. Once they've done the Lord of the Rings, and then they started doing almost like a fan fiction verse of The Hobbit, and now a TV show. It's left Tolkien.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's sort of like Dune without.
But you say the same thing about Mandalorian, though.
You could.
Mandalorian has left Lucas.
I can agree with. I say that. But to me, if somebody's going to take the mantle of Star Wars and say, you know what, Star Wars was great. We did the Skywalker saga. We're going to go on and do something else. But I have great reverence for this stuff that I loved as a kid. And this is I know we're going off topic here way, but this is my problem with comics nowadays, is you can change anything, you can do anything, but you need to have some sort of reverence from the source material to at least continue to put out good product, right? And kind of leave this stuff that you loved intact and move on.
Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I think.
Well, but first of all, we haven't seen anything from this Lord of the Rings thing. You don't know if they showrunners have a reverence.
You're right. I'm hoping it's good.
But I'll be honest with you, I don't care. Mm-hmm. To Artie's point, I don't care.
But the thing is, that's,
you're never a Tolkien
fan. But there's somebody,
No, I love the Lord of the Rings. No. I love the right.
You did love the movies. You did love.
I love the movies, and I remember sitting there.
The movies were enjoyable.
The movies were the first 3 movies were great. It was.
The Hobbit doesn't count. That's.
I'm not counting the Hobbit. And then look, you may argue everything you want about Harry Potter, but this generation.
I'll concede. Like, I'm just showing what I like. And
what you like, and I agree with you. I mean, look,
I think you're right.
All I'm saying is that the MCU since 2008. And you got to remember, for me, when in 2008 it was all about Dark Knight, it was all about Nolan. And
I
then the
remember you
MCU,
loving that
and then
thing.
the MCU completely enthralled me. And it didn't do it right away. It did it when we got to Avengers. Once I saw that possibility, then I was like, okay, this is Star Wars all over again. I remember being in the movie theater on opening night for Avengers and seeing the Call It Cap scene and realizing, oh my God, all my toys, everything. I was that kid seeing Star Wars for the first time 35 years earlier. And I was
Iron
like,
Man was the one that kind of got me really.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask. Maybe this is for another show.
Yeah.
Because I would like to know.
Captain America.
Right. This is where I was going to go. I was going to ask since we love Marvel movies so much and we think it's kind of like they've done a great job. When did we latch on to the Marvel movies? Like,
look, I was on board from the beginning, but when it really was, then it went into my heart and it was like, no, this is my franchise. I remember realizing over the years, I'm realizing, Jesus Christ, the MCU is better than Star Wars right now. You know, when did that happen? The MCU, and I said it at the end of Endgame, the MCU is the only franchise in recent history to stick the fucking landing. Game of Thrones didn't stick the landing. Star Wars certainly didn't stick the landing. Think about it. Of the big franchises,
Star Wars didn't stick the landing with Return of the Jedi.
Well, I'm talking about the
that doesn't count.
Return of the Jedi has a perfect ending, and I'm talking perfect ending, and I'm talking about the Nub Yub song. I'm not talking about the remake.
I'm talking the original.
The original with Sebastian.
There was a movie you said we didn't talk about, which was Conan the Barbarian.
Well, yeah, and we're gonna save that because we're almost at an hour and a half. So
Yeah.
Conan is a whole thing all onto itself. You know what I mean? And we can talk about Arnold all onto ourselves about Arnold because, you know, Arnold is, you know, he's super fantastic and
super fantastic.
He is fantastic.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. But before we go, I did want to save this little thing, which Artie brought up, which is like 82 is the best year possible. And I'm not disagreeing, but there are runners up and that could give it a run for its money. I don't think anything's going to beat 82, but 84 could possibly come close.
Are we doing that next?
I don't think we have enough material for 84. We still going to stick on 82 because 82, we still have to talk about video games. We have to talk about comics. We have to talk about music. Some of the biggest albums of all time. You know who I'm talking about? Came out in 1982. One of the biggest albums, period, of all time. And definitely video games. Which one?
You know Vanelli?
But we're gonna take this up on the next podcast.
So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna stick a bunch of them, or are we gonna stick with one topic?
We'll go around. I think. I think we'll see how far we get. We'll see what one of our viewers, if anybody responds. This is it gives us any sort of a thing. Are there any art giveaways that we want to talk about, Artie?
I think I'm gonna skip this week and retool it for next week when we
emphasis on tool.
One of my favorite bands, them Mastodon.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Name me one song from Tool.
I don't know. I have one of their concert jerseys.
Who gave it to you?
Oh, look.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
What shirt are you wearing?
My wife came back from Texas, right?
And you're wearing that?
She bought me a shirt. I know. Well, let's stay off that topic. I could go off too.
The stars are bright.
Deep in the heart of Texas. So, no.
Only two things come from Texas.
Oh, no.
Mayonnaise. But I kid. So with that, I think
I don't see any horns, boy.
I don't see. So Artie, George and Jaded Hat, this will be continued in our next podcast for 1982.
Right. Barring any crazy news comes out over the next week.
Well, and some reviews. I'll obviously have seen Batman, so I'll spoil it for all you guys.
Yeah, let us know tomorrow. I'm eager to hear about it.
I will.
It's gotten a lot of good reviews. Everybody's saying it's great. I don't know what great means for Batman.
I'm just shocked that they went with a grim and gritty Batman.
Yeah, that is very odd
It
choice.
hasn't been touched on before, so yeah, exciting.
Sarcasm alert. All right, everybody. I'm going to play us out.
By the Podcast Cosmic.